welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about what I read in September and then what my reading plans are for October. So I'll start with what I read in September. I ended up reading 7 books and then I'm still working through one. I'm hoping to have the book I'm working through now be done by Saturday, just because I kind of want to cut ties with September's books and really focus on October's, and you'll find out why in a little bit. But the books that I did complete, 3 of them were audio and then the rest were physical reads. So the audio books that I did complete were Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdoms by Lee Bardugo. I ended up rating both of these a 4-star. They are about, pretty much it's a fantasy, YA fantasy heist in one of them, both of them. The Crooked Kingdoms is just a follow-up to Six of Crows. Six of Crows was like an epic heist, whereas Crooked Kingdom to me felt like a lot of like back and forth between people trying to mess with each other's heads. It was a ride for sure. I enjoyed both of them. They were great. I enjoyed listening to them just because there's different voices for the different characters, and you through each chapter go through a different character's perspective. So it was nice to hear like the different voices, and I did like the voices that they chose. So I enjoyed listening to it. I actually enjoyed it enough where I'm gonna probably pick up the physical books. I kind of would like the matching hardbacks. I haven't 100% decided on what I'm gonna purchase or when I'm gonna purchase those, but I think I want to reread those, like physical read those. So I did really enjoy it, and I did end up, it did spur me, well not spur, but it did inspire me to watch the TV show Shadow of Bones? I'll put a picture of what it is up next to my face somewhere. But I did end up watching that on Netflix and I really liked it. It was really good. It was not like the characters that they chose for some of them that are characters in the Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdoms, because the worlds that the books are written in are the same. I don't know, I didn't picture them in my head, so it was a little weird, but I enjoyed it. It was a good show. I would recommend it, and I would recommend the books, and I will be picking up the physical copies, so I'm excited about that. The other book that I read on Audible was awesome. I gave it 5 stars, and it's called Finley Donovan is Killing It. Finley Donovan is Killing It by El Casamano, and I loved this book. It was so cute. I loved it so much. I recommended it to my best friend because she likes true crime kind of stuff, and also she just loves a good time, and this was definitely a good time. So it's a mystery. It follows a character named Finley Donovan, and she is an author of like romance thrillers, and she's kind of going through a hard time in life with a divorce and being behind on her bills, and she meets up with her editor at a Panera. And as she's discussing her book ideas with her editor, someone overhears her. By how she's talking, it sounds like she's a potential hit woman, so the person tries to hire her to be a hit lady for them to kill her husband, and the story progresses from there. It's fantastic. It's so fun. It's such a good book. So I enjoyed it and I gave it 5 stars. Will I get the physical copy? I don't know, but I will be getting the audiobook for the second for sure. I think I just want to enjoy listening to it. I know it's so weird, but I think that book I would rather listen to the second than read them. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. Finished that one. Now into physical books. Now in the beginning of the month, kind of the very end of August, beginning of September, I finished a book called Once There Were Wolves. It's a newer release. It is about it's about 2 sisters, Inti and Aggie. If I'm saying the names wrong, I'm kind of doing off memory, but sorry. Inti and Aggie. Inti is a biologist who's helping release wolves in the Scottish Highlands. I guess they've raised a couple packs and they're trying to release them and establish them. And they kind of get a little bit of a headbutt from the locals because the locals don't want them there. And it's pretty dark. It's pretty dark. There's a lot of triggers, so if anybody's going into this, please look up the trigger warnings. The triggers that were in this book, they also, which the other sort of contemporary novel I picked up did the same thing, but they did hit a couple of my personal issues I went through in my life with abuse. And so it was a little hard to read at some points, but it is a beautiful story. And I think the part of the book that I loved that maybe give it a 4-star was the wolves. Like, just a story about the wolves, the description of the atmosphere. It's a very winter read, like just woodsy, snow, cold, the howling of the wolves. It's magical the way the author wrote about it. I gave it I gave it only 4, not 5, because the writing is beautiful. The downer with the writing, and the part that I just had really struggled with a little bit, was the author didn't really write as Scottish people would speak. So in my head, I read the sentences very American accent, and it's like, that didn't fit with a Scottish countryside sort of thing. Like, Scottish village, the Scottish village is going to be a pretty harsh accent, and it should be related in the writing. I did not feel that with our writing. So I was really kind of disappointed with that. Also, the abuse is pretty brutal. But, however, there were a couple aspects that I wish the writer had pushed on a little bit that I really liked. Like, I don't think this might be mild spoil, but I don't think so. Aggie is Inti's sister. Aggie lives in this little cottage that Inti is staying in while she's working with the biologist to release the wolves. And Aggie won't leave. Like, she has a fear. She went through a very traumatic event in her life, like extremely traumatic event in her life. She has severe PTSD. She's, I don't know. The thing is, in a couple moments in the book, and it's towards the middle endish part of the book, which I was bummed. I kind of wish she had played it more in the beginning, because I feel like that would have been kind of a cool thriller aspect. But she ends up, she as in Inti, ends up doubting if her sister's really there or if she's a figment of her imagination. And I thought, oh, this is kind of trippy. So that was kind of a cool aspect. It's a very short period of time that she thinks this. You end up finding out the truth of the matter later on, but I wish she had played that more early in the book. Also, they find a dead body, which the villagers blame it on the wolves, and it's just kind of a murder mystery sort of novel. Anyway, I liked it. I got rid of the book because I don't see myself reading again. The abuse that's spoken of in it kind of triggered me a little bit. So I won't be rereading it, but I did really like it. And I would recommend it to people if they're looking for something very atmosphere, outside, woods, snow, dark vibe. It was pretty good. It was really good. So moving on, I then picked up 2 books. It's a 2 books together, All the Stars and Teeth and All the Tides of Fate, which I have. So All the Stars and Teeth, and then All the Tides of Fate. So these 2 I read. They're by Adeline Grace. I gave each of them, I actually gave 5-star. Okay. 4-star. Take that back. 4-star. It was really fun. It's definitely simple. Like, it was easy, very predictable. Nothing was like unexpected, but the character companionship and dedication to each other was like above and beyond, and it just was an easy read. It was an adventure, pirate ships on the sea. I really liked that aspect. At one point they fight a sea monster, and I don't know, I love the world that they built. That the author built. I love how the different islands represent different magic, and I just thought that was such a cool description, a cool place. I enjoyed being in there when I was reading, and I did like the characters. Everybody was, I really actually liked Amora. So Amora is the main character that you're following. She's a princess of all of the islands, the whole kingdom. And she ends up going on an adventure because she was supposed to perform to prove that she could be queen and a leader. And during the performance of her magic, something goes wrong. And now she has to prove to her people that she is worthy of being a queen. And her character, for as young as it is extremely passionate about being queen. She does not deter from that nothing can stop her from it. I did really like that. I liked that storyline. I liked the characters. I liked the adventure. The second one was a little more cheesy, I will have to say. The second one was All the Tides of Fate. It was a little more cheesy. But otherwise, I really did like them. I enjoyed them. I'll be keeping them because the covers are really cute. They're really pretty. I will probably reread this just because it was really fun. I actually might read this as like a summertime read just because of the adventure and outside and on the sea, and I think it's just really cool. Okay, so the next book I read physical was Cinder. Now, I know that this series has been out for a long time. This is by Marissa Mayer. This is from the Lunar Chronicles, the first one. This is the new release, and the original ones, was it like 2005? No. 15? No. 12. Okay, 2012. So yeah, it's been out for almost 10 years, so it's an older series. But what drew me to picking this up was the artwork. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I just picked it up. I saw the artwork. I was mesmerized. Like, I just made me want to read the book. And then I read, combines classic folktale with hints of Terminator and Star Wars. What? Like, I read that and I just immediately bought it. Like, it was just like not even a thought in my head. No regrets at all. Like, walked out the door, bought it. So excited about it. And I really enjoyed it. So it's this particular one follows Cinder, who's supposed to be Cinderella, and she's a cyborg, and she ends up helping the prince repair a robot. She finds out more information. There's this deadly virus going around. I don't want to read too much into it because I don't want to waste too much time getting distracted by all the details, because it's actually quite a lot of stuff going on in here. Very predictable, very if you know Cinderella's story, you're kind of going to know how it's going to end, sort of thing. But there are certain aspects that I love. I love that the villain that they create in this Lunar Chronicles is a villain that's going to maintain through the Chronicles. I haven't read them all, but this is just what I've heard. And I like that. And that's what I got from the book too, is I like that concept. I like that we're just following one. So they didn't just do like one villain in this story gets taken care of and we move on, sort of thing, onto a new villain. It's one villain that's going to be a consistent villain through the Chronicles, or through the series of 4 books. So I'm really excited. I actually loved it so much. I purchased the next 2 books already, so those will be coming in either today or tomorrow. So I'm really excited about that, but I won't be picking those up probably until November, reading wise. So, but this was great. I loved it. Such a great time. And I gave it 5 stars because I just enjoyed every moment of reading it. Like, the point of 5 stars is, would you read it again? And did you love it? And yes, I loved it. And yes, I will be rereading it. And yes, I am keeping it on my shelves. Okay, so now we're down to the book that I didn't complete, but I'm still working on, and I'm hoping to get done by Saturday. And that is Hollowpox. This is the last one in the trilogy of The Hunt for Morgan Crow. I'm sorry, The Hunt for Morgan Crow. Oh, April, let's have more coffee. Yes. Okay. The Nevermore series. This is the last one in the Nevermore series. Now, I've gotten Let's see, I've gotten almost halfway. I'm at page 221. And I'm gonna be sad when the series is done. It's so cute. It's such a nice, it's such a good story. Like, it's the adventure. It's like literally nonstop. Like, very fast paced, very easy to read, just really enjoyable. The coming of oneself, I guess that's what she is. She's just discovering herself and becoming the person that she wants to be. She's finding not only her friends and the feeling of, what is it? The feeling of like where she belongs. She's also coming to find her power. She's becoming a stronger person. I love it. It's just so much fun. So in this particular one, in this last one, she's actually being able to be taught how to use her magic by the school. So before, she was kind of dragged along. The school was dragging their feet and teaching her. They're out of fear because her gift is so powerful. And in this one, they found a way to teach her. And so she's getting a chance to learn how to use her magic. Now, I haven't finished, I haven't finished it, so I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know anything past that. I just know she's in what the school's teaching program is now. And there's been a couple of things going on with, there's these type of people, citizens that are called woonimals. And these ones they're very much like a person, but they look like an animal. They are almost just like, what's that movie, Zootopia? It's just like Zootopia, where something's going around, a virus is going around that's making them turn into a like rabies infested, crazy, violent creature. So that's something that's going on in the story too. I don't know how that's going to end, but it's such a fun story, and I'm going to be very sad when it ends. But once I do my reading vlog next week, I'll hopefully have it finished and be able to give you my thoughts, opinions, and ratings. But this is great. I'm enjoying it. Recommend it. Highly recommend it. Okay, so that is September's wrap up. And now I get to talk about what I'm doing in October, and I'm so excited. I'm just being excited to myself because it's not like anybody else is doing it. And once I say what it is, people are gonna be like, seriously, April? For real, girl? Okay, something that I wanted to do for October was I wanted to pick like a particular monster or topic or theme that's very typical Halloween, and then I wanted to like read only books around that topic. And I decided on vampires. And the reason why I did is because I don't really read a lot of vampires. I actually am very picky about my vampire sort of, I don't know, type, and I don't like I feel like a lot of the vampire stuff that I see or hear about or read or anything like that tends to be very smutty, I think is the word. It's just it's a little bit too, I don't know the word. Doesn't matter. I decided I like more action, I like more blood, gore, and maybe it's like a tiny bit of romance. Not just all romance. I did pick up a type of vampire book in multiple different genres. I reached out of my comfort zone and picked up a couple in areas that I don't typically read. I do not like horror at all. And thriller, I'm a little hesitant on. I'm just not really a thriller reader. I do have a couple that I want to pick up soon, but I am a little hesitant on thriller. But I did find a couple horror that I picked up. And then I actually went into like the manga section. I've never read manga in my life. So I got a couple in manga, and I already had a romance on my audiobook that I think I've listened to, but I don't remember. So I was like, great, I'll just re-listen to that one. And then I did pick up a book, I picked up 2 books actually at a thrift store, a thrift bookstore, that I asked the people, I said, hey, I'm going to be reading vampire books in October, and do you have any recommendations? I want something a little bit out of the box. I don't want the typical Vampire Diary, Twilight. I don't want any of that. And so I got 2 recommendations, and one of them was, let's see. You know, let me just get into the books in each genre before I go off on a tangent. So let's start with the ones that I got from the thrift store. Okay, so the ones that I got from the thrift store, first is actually in my background. It's going to be Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter by Seth Graham Smith. This one is actually going to be under as fantasy horror. And I'm going to be listening along with an Audible just because I am not super pumped about reading it. I'm very hesitant about reading it. So I'm excited but not. So I thought, you know what, if I have an Audible going and I'm reading along with someone, maybe I might change it up. I've heard that that's kind of a fun way to read books. I've never done anything like that before, so I'm going to try it. So that one I will be doing it. And then the other one I got is a fantasy mystery romance. That's what it's classified as. And it's, I'll just show you. It's Dead to the World. And this one's by Charlene Harris. Now, this one has been out for a very long time. This book is like yellow and old. But let's see, when was it released? 2004, 2005. So this one's been out for a very long time. Almost 20 years. This one's the book series that they based True Blood off of. So I'm actually going to be watching True Blood this month with my bestie. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to read this first and then hopefully get going on that TV show. Knowing me, I'll probably watch the TV show first, but I'm probably going to start out reading this one this week and hopefully get started on the TV show. But I'm super excited. I'm not going to read, I mean, I'm sure you guys, it's an older book story, so if you wanted to look up online what it's about, you can. But I mean, obviously it's about vampires because everything I picked is about vampires. Like, come on. So this is the other one I got from the thrift store. This one I'll be starting off in the beginning. And then moving on down the genres, the romance book that I have is called The Vampire's Mail Order Bride, and that's by Kristen Painter. I mean, obviously a mail order bride, it's going to be sort of a pretend relationship that turns into love kind of thing. And it's based in a town that has all different types of creatures. It has werewolves, it has witches, it has vampires. The main character and the love interest, he's a vampire. So it has a vampire in it. Okay, so that one is going to be the one that I'm going to read in the romance genre. Now, classics, I have said this in my previous one, I have a really hard time getting through. However, the audio for the classic Carmilla, which is supposed to be one of the first vampire books, is only like 2.5 hours or something like that. And I'm like, perfect. One, someone's reading it to me. 2 is super short. I could get a classic under my belt. Plus, fit the vampire theme. It was a win-win. So I will be reading that one. And actually, that one I'm going to be reading or listening to at the end of the month. Like pretty much during Halloween. Either on Halloween, day before, like the Halloween time, weekend, phase, place thing. You know what I mean. Anywho. So that's what I'll be doing for classic. Okay, so now let's get down manga. So in the manga genre, I am a complete noob. I know nothing about manga. I don't know any series. I tried to research some that were popular as a vampire theme, but I had a hard time figuring it out. So I just went to Barnes & Noble. I took a wander around. I looked for anything labeled vampire, and what caught my attention was the one called The Vampire and His Pleasant Companions by Marima Wargawa. I could be saying that wrong, and I apologize if I am. But this one says, since becoming a vampire, Albert's life has fallen into an unchanging cycle. Day to night, bat to vampire. After a mishap at a meat processing plant in Nebraska, Bat in owl form is flash frozen alongside his midday snack and shipped to a foreign land. Explaining to the police how he really ended up wandering naked is out of the question, not to mention he doesn't know a word of Japanese. Al will have to rely on the kindness, and there's a question mark, of his new companions if he's going to get by in Tokyo, that is. If he can convince them he's the Bat. And this is the back. So cute. Such a cute looking book. I'm super excited about this. And then when I was in that section, I found another book, which I think it's along the lines of anime. I tried to look up its genre, and I got fantasy, action, horror. So I don't know what I'm walking into. I don't know what it is. It's called The King of the Dead at the Dark Palace. This one is by Suki Kaji. I just probably said that one also wrong. This one says, the beginning of end, when a sickly boy succumbs to illness only to awaken as a lowly undead named End. His initial reaction is not horror, but joy. No longer weak and bedridden, he is eager to experience the freedom of a properly functioning body. Sadly, his delight is cut short when he realizes the shackles of his previous life have simply been replaced by new ones, specifically the powerful necromancer who revived him. To gain true freedom, he'll need to overcome the many obstacles in his way, starting with his dark master. So that sounded super good. It sounds super interesting. The artwork is pretty freaking awesome. It gives me very anime vibes, so I've never read anything like that before, but we're doing it now. So anyway, that'll be in that section. And then last but not definitely not least is my adult dark fantasy choice. And it was a brand new release, and it's called Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. I've heard a lot of really good things about this. I am really excited. It just looks amazing. The artwork, it's phenomenal. Oh, it's just beautiful. Like, oh, I love the colors too. They're just like jewel toned and very vampire-y. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful. And in this book, this behemoth, there's also some artwork in between the writing. Oh, it's beautiful. But I am giving myself the entire month to read this because it's 730 pages. Oh, I laugh, but oh my gosh. I'm pumped. This is going to be awesome. I've heard that it can be really gory. I heard that it's smutty. I heard that it's dark. It's twisted. I've heard a lot of different things, but I'm really excited because adult fantasy is definitely where my reading heart lies. And it's what I've read a majority of my life. I tend to gravitate it more, so I'm really excited. And hopefully by just Halloween, I'll have my thoughts, I'll have my opinions. Maybe even before then, who knows, if it's so good and I can't put it down. You never know. So that wraps up what I've decided to read for my vampire themed October TBR. I will be doing weekly reading vlogs where I'm going to be checking in, what books have I accomplished, what did I think of them, what books I'm going to be reading next in this group of vampire themed books. I will also be relating if I'm watching any TV shows or anything like that that are vampire related. My absolute favorite vampire series on TV ever is Underworld. I love it. It's amazing, and I probably will watch it just because it's a vampire themed month. Like, come on, how can you not watch the Underworld series during vampire themed month? So that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoy. I hope you guys are doing something fun for October 2. I don't usually embrace Halloween. I'm not a Halloween person, but I have found something that I am super excited about, super stoked about. And I also hope everybody appreciates the Halloween decorations that I put up, thanks to the Target dollar spot and dollar store, I was able to add a little bit of pizzazz to my background, and I'll probably be using the shelves to decorate later in the future. But I hope you guys enjoy. If you do and you want to follow along, go ahead and subscribe. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And I hope everybody has a fantastic, wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye.